Hey guys, welcome back to Gant's Homesteading. So today we're going to do things a little different. We are in my kitchen. So instead of doing outside chores, we're going to do some inside chores. Winter is right around the corner. It's the end of July, so it's time to get some canning done. Now, I've never done canning like this before. Thanks to my grandma, I have a pot, and then I also have the juicer, I think is what you call it, and this little tool to do it. So today what we're going to be starting, so I've got my jars in here. I'm about to turn it on, get it to a boil. I've got it full of water, and then I've got my lids back here, sanitize those. We are going to make honeysuckle jelly. So these are some honeysuckles that I have picked, and they have sat in the fridge for 24 hours. So now we are going to strain them and make some honeysuckle jelly. So it's going to be a new one for me. I've never made a jelly before. So let's try it out and see how it works. All right, so I've got my jars here and they're open. So how I made this was I went out to my fence line and picked only the yellow because they're sweeter. So only the yellow honeysuckles. You want the ones that are in full flower. You don't want the like little bulb looking ones. And then it's about 2 cups per big jar and 1 cup per smaller jar. You don't want any of the green with it, like the leaves or the green tips if you can manage it. So you'll just put 2 cups in here, 1 cup in here, and pour boiling water over it. Let it cool, and then put it in the fridge for 24 hours. So now we're going to strain it. Here is our honeysuckle tea. Now you could essentially just drink this, add some sweetener to it or however you like it. But we're going to make jelly. Alright guys, so I've washed my strainer, rinsed out my jars, and then what I'm going to do is pour it back through and put it back in the jars, and then we're going to add some lemon juice so that way we can can this. This is probably going to be a mess. Now we're going to add our lemon juice, so it's going to be 2 tablespoons for this one and 1 tablespoon for this one. We're going to put our lids back on. We're going to shake it. We're going to be using the Sure jelly with less sugar. Never done this before, so if it fails, it fails. We've all learned. All right, so now we are going to mix up this everything for the jelly. So I'm pouring in both of my liquids in there, and I am going to turn it on, and when it gets bubbly, I'll add in my pectin. All right guys, we got it bubbly and it smells amazing. So now we're just going to pour in our pectin. Here's 1. And then we're going to do half of this one. I'm just going to guesstimate here. Okay. So I'm going to stir this in. and I want to bring it to a roaring boil, and then I want to add in my sugar. I'm gonna grab me a whisk. Now that that is all mixed, now I'm just waiting for a boil. All right, guys, we are at a rolling boil, which means even when I stir, it's still boiling. So let's add our sugar. All right, so now I want to bring that up to a boil. All right, guys, so it did come up to a bubble. So I added in some butter, just a little bit of unsalted butter to kind of help keep the foam down. All right, here we are. So we want it to do this for 1 minute. All right, so now I'm just getting my cans out and I'm dumping the water back in so I can have it. Like I said, I don't know how many jars this is gonna make, and no, I don't have the proper tools, so I'm just winging it. All right, so we're gonna leave the pot going and we're gonna move over here where we have our station set up. I don't have a ladle, so I'll be using a measuring cup. How big of a mess can this get? Close up my sugar. All right, so here's my mix, here's my lids, here's this. Let's get to work. All right. All right, it's not quite a full one. Not really sure what to do with that. So I guess I'm just going to see what happens. All right, so we're going to let it boil for 10 minutes and then we'll pull it out to sit for 24 hours. All right. All right, so we're set up to make our elderberry syrup. I'm just making enough for my household and a few of my family members. So in my pot, I have 6 cups of water. A normal recipe for a smaller amount is 4 cups of water. So I'm tweaking it just a bit to get what I need. So I've got 6 cups in here. So I've got dried elderberries. I'm hoping in the next year or two I'll have my own fresh elderberries. I do have 2 trees that should be producing in the next year or two, and then I started another one, so we'll see how that goes. But I do love this brand of elderberries. I drink it a lot in some teas that I make. So for this, we're gonna do 1.5 cups for this particular amount of water. When you use fresh berries, you use more. So I'm using a 1/2 cup scoop, so that's 3 scoops for that. And then for the cinnamon, for this recipe, I will use a full stick and then 1/2 of a stick. I'm stirring it. Okay, and then for the cloves, I need 6 full cloves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cloves are very potent. They will take over your flavor real quick. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. Okay, and then I need a full tablespoon and then a 1/2 tablespoon. I just eyeballed it. That was a little bit of lavender I don't want in there. So now I'm going to thought I was prepared. I'm just gonna stir this, and all I want to do is bring it up to a boil. Once it's up on a boil, I'm going to put it on a simmer and simmer it about 45 minutes to an hour. During that simmering, it's gonna drop down to about 1/2 of its consistency. So it'll leave me from 6 cups to 3 cups. And then after it's simmered for a while, I'm gonna let it cool for a little bit, and then I'll add my honey, and then I will jar it up and just leave it in the fridge. This is great for your immune system. You can also add ginger to it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just like to just drink ginger without adding it to it. But for this recipe, I'm not going to add it because some of my family members don't like ginger. So I'll just add it to my individual jar myself later. So I just want to get this real stirred, and then I will put a lid on it after I set it on simmer and just let it be for at least 45 minutes. So we'll pick up from there. I did decide that I'm going to add a little Mullein to this batch. So Mullein is a decongestant. This syrup is great to take every day, 2 tablespoons a day, to build your immune system so you don't get sick. But if you get sick, you can take it every 4 hours, 2 tablespoons every 4 hours. It helps with your coughing and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and add some Mullein so it'll be a decongestant as well. And I don't really have a recipe dosage for this one, so I'm just going to put it into my heart's content. So I'll do about a tablespoon. I do have some Mullein growing outside that I will dehydrate for future use. So I will show y'all what that plant looks like, because it's a great one just to keep on hand for a decongestant. Alright guys, I promised to show you Mullein. Here is a full-grown Mullein plant. And right over here, I'll show you different stages. Here's one right here. Right there. We've got a smaller one there. My second largest one, and I've got them all over the ground here. My second largest one is going to be this one right here. So this is a natural decongestant. You want to pick it and dehydrate it. You can use it as leaves. You can grind it down to a powder. Whatever works best for you. And it is a must-have. So this is what we look like right now. We will strain it. But for now, this is what it looks like. And Dakota says it smells like Christmas, so we call it Christmas in a jar sometimes. Alright, we'll get back to it a little later when we're jarring it. Alright, we are boiled down. Now it's time to remove from heat and strain it. All that we strain out of this we'll throw out to the chickens. Why not boost their immune system too? Alright, we got it strained. Now we need to get it cooled down a little bit so we can add our honey. And then once the honey is mixed in, we're going to strain it again as we're pouring it into our jars. Alright guys, it is cooled so it's not boiling. So let's add our honey. I'm adding 1/2 cup and 1/4 cup. Alright, so we got a new cheesecloth because of the Mullein. Remember, I use Mullein powder. So it goes straight through the strainer. That's why I'm using the cheesecloth. So I've got a new one for this next jar because that one was full. right, so this is what 6 cups made. So you will do 2 tablespoons first thing in the morning every day, and if you're sick, you'll do 2 tablespoons every 4 hours. Hope this helps y'all in your winter, and I hope nobody gets sick. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment. I am definitely new to canning, so just be easy on me. Have a great day.